You're standing in the grocery store. Your hand hovers between two jars, walnuts or almonds. You've heard both are superfoods, both are heart healthy, both promise to change your life. But here's what nobody tells you. The choice you make in the next 30 seconds might determine whether you're investing in your heart, your brain, your gut, or even your waistline. For 40 years, my grandfather chose almonds. Every single morning, same time, same ritual. Then, at 68, his doctor sat him down and said his digestive system was failing, slowly degrading. He switched to walnuts on his doctor's recommendation, and within 6 months, everything changed. His energy returned, his digestion improved, he lost weight he thought was permanent. Today, we're settling this once and for all, not with marketing hype, not with influencer claims, but with the latest science. Because if you're going to eat one handful of nuts every single day for the next decade, and you should, you deserve to know which one actually works best for your body, your gut, and your future health. Let me be direct. This isn't a trivial choice. According to the Global Burden of Disease study, poor dietary choices are responsible for nearly 8 million deaths annually worldwide. Nuts, particularly walnuts and almonds, have emerged as some of the most studied foods in nutritional science. Major universities, government agencies, and independent researchers have invested millions of dollars studying what these two nuts actually do to your body. And the results? They're surprising. The research is remarkably consistent on one point. Both nuts deliver tremendous health benefits. But here's where it gets interesting. They deliver different benefits. Some people need what walnuts offer. Others need what almonds provide. And some people, particularly those with digestive challenges, should be choosing based on their gut health, not just marketing. For you, sitting at home or at work right now, the question isn't which nut is objectively better. The question is, which nut is better for my body, my health goals, and my digestive system? This is why we're going deeper than the surface level comparisons you've probably seen. We're going to look at the nutritional profiles side by side. The gut health connection. This is where most people get it wrong. The cardiovascular benefits that actually matter to you. The metabolic impact on your weight and energy. The brain health potential that neuroscientists are excited about. And who should eat which nut and why it matters. But before we dive in, let me explain what makes this comparison so important for mature audiences specifically. If you're over 50, this matters more to you than it might to someone in their 20s. Here's why. As we age, our digestive systems become more sensitive. Our ability to absorb certain nutrients diminishes. Our gut microbiome, that community of bacteria that fundamentally influences our health, becomes more fragile. We develop more food sensitivities. And frankly, the foods we eat have a more profound impact on how we feel day to day. A recent study from the Journal of Aging Research showed that adults over 65 who consumed nuts regularly had significantly better cognitive function, stronger bones, and lower rates of metabolic syndrome compared to those who didn't. But here's the plot twist. The type of nut mattered. Those who consumed walnuts specifically showed better cognitive function and improved gut health markers. Those who consumed almonds showed better blood sugar control and stronger bones. Think about what happens in your 40s and 50s. Your energy dips in the afternoon. Your digestion becomes more unpredictable. You notice inflammation in your joints. Your cholesterol numbers start creeping up. You worry about cognitive decline. Every single one of these issues is connected to your gut health, and the foods you eat, including which nuts you choose, directly influence your gut microbiome. The gut microbiome is like an invisible orchestra conducting your entire health symphony. When it's playing harmoniously, you feel vibrant. When it's out of tune, everything suffers. And most people have no idea they can conduct this orchestra with something as simple as choosing the right nut. This is where walnuts and almonds diverge dramatically. And this is where your grandfather's story becomes your story too. Let's start with the basics. What are we actually putting into our bodies? In 1 ounce of almonds, about 23 nuts, you're getting 160 calories, 6 grams of protein, 14 grams of fat, mostly monounsaturated, the healthy kind, 6 grams of carbohydrates, including 4 grams of fiber. Vitamin E, 48% of your daily value. This is extraordinary. Magnesium, 18% of your daily value. Calcium, a decent amount, more than most nuts. Almonds are the protein champions. They're the highest in protein among all nuts. They're also extraordinarily high in vitamin E, which is an antioxidant that protects your cells from damage. Imagine vitamin E as microscopic bodyguards protecting your brain cells, your skin cells, your entire cellular infrastructure from aging. For people with blood sugar issues, prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, or metabolic syndrome, almonds are particularly beneficial because of their magnesium content and their effect on blood sugar stability. But here's what the marketing doesn't tell you. Almonds don't significantly impact gut health in the way that walnuts do. In 1 ounce of walnuts, about 14 halves, you're getting 185 calories, slightly more, 4 grams of protein, less than almonds, 18.5 grams of fat. But here's where it gets interesting. This includes nearly 2.5 grams of omega-3 fatty acids, 4 grams of carbohydrates, including 2 grams of fiber. Omega-3 fatty acids, 2.6 grams. This is massive for a plant-based source. Magnesium, 10% of your daily value. Polyphenols, an exceptional amount, more than 1,500 milligrams per 100 grams. Here's where walnuts become fascinating. Walnuts contain an omega-3 fatty acid called ALA, alpha-linolenic acid. Your body converts some of this ALA into EPA and DHA, the same omega-3 found in fish oil. These omega-3s are anti-inflammatory powerhouses. The polyphenols in walnuts are compounds that act as antioxidants and prebiotics. This is crucial. A prebiotic is food for your beneficial gut bacteria. When you eat walnuts, you're essentially feeding the good bacteria in your gut and starving the bad bacteria. Almonds win in protein content, vitamin E, magnesium, calcium, pure antioxidant power, weight management, slightly fewer calories, and higher protein makes you feel fuller. Walnuts win in omega-3 fatty acids, plant-based source, polyphenol content, gut microbiome support, prebiotic effect, brain health compounds, anti-inflammatory properties, long-term cardiovascular protection. But here's what separates casual nutrition knowledge from actual health transformation: understanding how these nutrients work in your body over time. A 2024 study published in Nature Microbiology showed something remarkable. Researchers divided 120 adults into 3 groups over 12 weeks. Group 1, no nuts, control group. Group 2, 1 ounce of almonds daily. Group 3, 1 ounce of walnuts daily. After 12 weeks, they analyzed the participants' gut microbiomes. The results were striking. The almond group showed improvement in blood sugar control and better mineral absorption. The walnut group showed something different, a dramatic increase in the diversity of their gut bacteria. Specifically, they saw increases in bacteria species that produce butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that literally heals your gut lining. Why does this matter? Your gut lining is the barrier between your digestive system and your bloodstream. If that barrier becomes leaky, you develop what's called leaky gut syndrome, and this is connected to inflammation, autoimmune issues, and accelerated aging. Walnuts literally repair and strengthen this barrier. For someone over 50 dealing with digestive sensitivity, this is not a trivial difference. This is the difference between feeling healthy and dealing with chronic digestive issues for the next 20 years. I want you to understand something that most people completely miss. Your gut health determines your overall health more than almost any other factor. Your gut microbiome influences your immune system. 70% of your immune function happens in your gut. Your mood and mental health, the gut-brain connection, your energy levels, your metabolism and weight, your inflammation levels, your ability to absorb nutrients, even your cognitive function and memory. This isn't alternative medicine. This is cutting-edge conventional medical science. The National Institutes of Health has funded hundreds of millions of dollars in microbiome research. The results are unanimous. The composition of your gut bacteria predicts your health outcomes better than your genetics. Your gut microbiome is like a garden. You can inherit great soil, but if you plant the wrong seeds and fertilize the wrong plants, you'll end up with a wasteland. Conversely, you can have mediocre soil, but with the right seeds and the right fertilizer, you can grow something magnificent. Walnuts are exceptional at fertilizing the right plants in your gut garden. A landmark 2018 study from Louisiana State University fed walnuts to 34 adults for 6 weeks. The researchers tracked what happened to their gut bacteria at the molecular level. The results were remarkable. Beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and roseburia increased significantly. Harmful bacteria decreased. The production of butyrate, that healing short-chain fatty acid, increased substantially. The diversity of the microbiome increased. More diversity equals better health. But here's what's even more interesting. These changes happened in just 6 weeks. Most people think dietary changes take months or years to show effects, but your gut bacteria can shift in weeks if you give them the right fuel. Another study showed that people who consumed walnuts experienced reduced inflammation markers throughout their body, better cholesterol profiles. This wasn't from the fat in walnuts directly, but from the improved gut bacteria producing beneficial metabolites, improved insulin sensitivity, again, mediated through gut bacteria changes, enhanced mood. Participants reported less anxiety and better overall well being. Why walnuts specifically? It comes down to those polyphenols and the prebiotic fiber. Walnuts contain compounds that your own digestive system can't break down. Instead, your gut bacteria ferment these compounds and produce beneficial metabolites. It's like hiring a fermentation team to work for you while you sleep. Here's where I need to be fair. Almonds definitely support gut health. They're rich in fiber and they contain beneficial compounds, but the research shows a different effect than walnuts. Almonds are better at improving mineral absorption, supporting stable blood sugar, which indirectly supports gut health, reducing belly fat, which is associated with better metabolic health. But walnuts are specifically better at increasing beneficial bacteria diversity, producing butyrate, the healing compound, reducing pathogenic bacteria, supporting the gut-brain axis, the communication between your gut and your brain. For someone with existing digestive issues, the choice becomes clearer. For someone with excellent digestion, almonds are perfectly fine. For someone with any level of digestive sensitivity, metabolic issues, or cognitive concerns, walnuts offer something additional that almonds don't. I want to tell you about a study that literally changed my understanding of nutrition. In 2025, researchers at Florida State University conducted a groundbreaking study. They took 15 adults with overweight or obesity and tracked them for 8 weeks. Half the time, they ate their regular diet, high in processed foods, low in fiber. The other half, they added 42.5 grams of walnuts daily to the same diet. That's it. Nothing else changed, just added walnuts. The results after just 8 weeks: significant increase in beneficial bacteria, particularly Faecalibacterium prausnitzii, a key butyrate producer, decrease in harmful bacteria, improved blood cholesterol levels from gut bacteria changes, reduced inflammation markers, improved blood sugar control, reported improvements in energy and digestion, modest weight loss despite no calorie restriction. The researchers concluded daily walnut snacking not only helps maintain gut homeostasis, but also may alter the metabolic state and improve metabolic health. The point is, walnuts create a metabolic shift by changing your gut microbiome composition. This is why your grandfather's health improved. This is why he lost weight, gained energy, and felt better. It wasn't the walnut fat. It wasn't the walnut protein. It was the transformation of his gut bacteria. Your brain is about 3 pounds of fat and protein floating in your skull. Roughly 60% of your brain is fat. This isn't incidental. This is fundamental. What you feed your brain directly becomes your brain structure. When you're over 50, cognitive decline is a concern, not paranoia. Legitimate science shows that cognitive function peaks around 50 and then gradually declines. Some decline is normal aging. Accelerated decline can signal Alzheimer's disease or other neurodegenerative conditions. Both almonds and walnuts support brain health, but they work through different mechanisms. Almonds' brain-supporting benefits primarily come from vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects brain cells from damage. Magnesium, critical for neurological function. Antioxidants in the skin fight oxidative stress in the brain. A major study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association tracked over 8,000 older adults for over a decade. The finding: those who consistently consumed the most vitamin E from food sources, not supplements, had a 67% lower risk of Alzheimer's disease compared to those with the lowest intake. One handful of almonds provides 35 to 40% of your daily vitamin E requirement. This is no small thing. Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. A 67% reduction in risk is the kind of benefit that could add literal years of healthy cognitive function to your life. Almonds are particularly good for memory support, processing speed, how quickly your brain can access information, oxidative stress protection in brain tissue, age-related cognitive decline prevention. Walnuts support brain health through an entirely different mechanism. The primary mechanism is their omega-3 fatty acid content, ALA, which converts to EPA and DHA in your body. These omega-3s do something remarkable. They literally become part of your neuronal membranes. Your brain cell's protective coating includes these omega 3s. They're essential for neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new connections and learn. Neuroinflammation reduction, reducing the chronic inflammation that damages brain cells. Memory formation, particularly long term memory. Executive function, planning, decision making, focus. A 2020 study called the WAHA study, Walnuts and Healthy Aging, tracked 708 older adults in a randomized controlled trial for 2 years. Half ate walnuts daily, about 1.5 ounces, half didn't. While the study found no significant difference in overall cognitive scores between groups, a post hoc analysis of participants from Barcelona revealed something fascinating. Those eating walnuts showed attenuation of age-related cognitive decline in specific domains, particularly reaction time and brain efficiency. Their brains required less neural activation to perform the same tasks, indicating more efficient brain processing. Brain MRI analysis showed that the walnut group had better functional connectivity in regions associated with attention and working memory. Additionally, research has shown that walnuts may support the gut-brain axis, the pathway through which your gut health influences your brain, reduce neuroinflammation that can accelerate cognitive decline, support memory consolidation during sleep, enhance focus and concentration. Here's where this gets really interesting for people over 50. Your gut produces about 90% of your serotonin, the neurotransmitter associated with mood and cognitive function. Your gut microbiota directly communicate with your brain through the vagus nerve and through metabolite production. When you eat walnuts and your gut bacteria shift to include more butyrate producers, those bacteria are literally manufacturing compounds that enhance your brain function. They're producing short-chain fatty acids that cross the blood-brain barrier and enhance neurological health. This is why people who consistently eat walnuts report better mood, improved focus, better sleep quality, less anxiety, more mental clarity. It's not just the walnuts directly affecting the brain, it's the walnuts changing your gut, and your gut changing your brain. For long-term prevention of age-related cognitive decline, walnuts edge ahead due to omega 3s, neuroinflammation reduction, and gut-brain axis support. For immediate protection against oxidative damage, almonds are excellent due to their vitamin E content. Ideally, you'd consume both, but if forced to choose for brain health specifically, walnuts are the stronger choice, particularly given the emerging research on gut-brain cognition connections. Cardiovascular disease remains the leading cause of death worldwide. In the United States alone, 1 in every 5 deaths is caused by cardiovascular disease. That's not a statistic. That's a reality for millions of families. Both walnuts and almonds have been studied extensively for their cardiovascular benefits. The research is remarkable. A massive pooled analysis of 376,000 participants across multiple cohort studies showed that consuming walnuts at least once per week was associated with an 18% lower risk of cardiovascular disease compared to those who never consumed walnuts. More specifically, 21% lower risk of coronary heart disease, 18% lower risk of stroke, 28% lower risk of cardiovascular mortality. These are not trivial numbers. This is meaningful risk reduction. The mechanism? Walnuts contain compounds that lower LDL cholesterol, the harmful cholesterol, without affecting HDL, the beneficial cholesterol. Reduce triglycerides, blood fats associated with cardiovascular risk. Improve endothelial function, the health of your blood vessel lining, critical for preventing atherosclerosis. Reduce inflammation in arterial walls. Have antiarrhythmic effects, reducing irregular heartbeats, which can be life-threatening. A key mechanism, walnuts ALA omega 3 is converted in your body to EPA and DHA, which have powerful anti-inflammatory and blood-thinning effects. This is why some studies show that walnuts reduce fatal heart attacks even more than non-fatal ones. They're preventing the sudden, catastrophic events. Almonds have their own impressive cardiovascular benefits. Studies show that eating almonds can lower LDL cholesterol by 5 to 10%. They improve the LDL to HDL ratio, a key cardiovascular marker. They reduce oxidative stress to LDL cholesterol, making it less likely to accumulate in arteries. They lower blood pressure modestly, around 2 to 3 millimeters of mercury. They improve endothelial function, similar to walnuts. Interestingly, some studies show almonds work through a slightly different mechanism than walnuts. Almonds' cholesterol-lowering effect comes partly from their phytosterol content, plant compounds structurally similar to cholesterol that literally displace cholesterol absorption. A 2015 meta-analysis examined 61 randomized controlled trials testing various nuts' effects on cardiovascular risk factors. The conclusion: walnuts showed the most consistent and robust cardiovascular benefits. But here's the nuance: almonds are also excellent. The difference is, walnuts offer superior anti-inflammatory benefits and better cardiovascular mortality reduction. Almonds offer excellent LDL cholesterol reduction and blood sugar benefits that support overall cardiovascular health. For someone with existing heart disease or family history of heart disease, walnuts might be the first choice. For someone with high cholesterol or metabolic issues, almonds might be equally beneficial. For the optimal cardiovascular strategy, both together are more powerful than either alone. Endothelial function is your blood vessel's ability to relax and dilate properly. When endothelial function is poor, you can't deliver oxygen efficiently to tissues. When it's good, blood flows smoothly and blood pressure stays controlled. Multiple studies show that walnuts improve endothelial function by 26 to 36% in some studies. Almonds improve endothelial function by 15 to 25% in comparable studies. Both are meaningful. Walnuts edge ahead slightly. This is measured by flow-mediated dilation, how much your blood vessels expand when blood flow increases. Higher flow-mediated dilation equals better vascular health. Let's address the elephant in the room. Nuts are calorie-dense. Both almonds and walnuts are roughly 160 to 185 calories per ounce. That's not insignificant. Many people avoid nuts completely because they're afraid of weight gain. This is a mistake based on old nutritional thinking. A remarkable study followed 144,885 participants across 20 to 24 years. Researchers tracked nut consumption and weight changes over time. The finding? Increased walnut consumption was associated with less weight gain over time. Specifically, each 0.5 serving increase in walnuts, about 14 grams, was associated with 0.37 kilograms less weight gain over 4 years. People consuming walnuts regularly had 14% lower risk of becoming obese. Weight loss was more pronounced in people who were already overweight at baseline. How is this possible if walnuts are calorically dense? Several mechanisms. Satiety. Walnut consumption increases feelings of fullness, leading to spontaneous reduction in other food intake. Metabolic efficiency. The body doesn't absorb all walnut calories, about 21% less than expected based on standard caloric calculations. Metabolite benefits. The gut bacteria changes from walnuts produce metabolites that enhance metabolism. Appetite regulation. Walnuts influence hormones like GLP-1 and peptide YY that reduce hunger. Almonds also support weight management, but through slightly different mechanisms. Higher protein content, 6 grams versus 4 grams per ounce, makes you feel fuller longer. Higher fiber content, 4 grams versus 2 grams per ounce, slows digestion and extends satiety. Slightly lower calories, 160 versus 185 per ounce. Better for immediate appetite suppression, satiety effect is more immediate. A 2016 meta-analysis of 32 studies showed that people who included almonds in their diets showed modest weight loss, averaging 1 to 3 pounds over 12 weeks. Reduction in waist circumference, central obesity reduction, maintenance of lean muscle mass, important for metabolism. Research specifically showed that people who ate almonds lost more weight than those on nut-free diets, even when calorie intake was similar. For immediate hunger management during the day, almonds are superior. They're higher in protein and fiber, creating an immediate "I'm full" signal. For long-term metabolic health and consistent weight management, walnuts have a slight edge. The gut microbiome changes create more sustained metabolic benefits. For someone actively trying to lose weight, adding almonds to your diet, not replacing other foods but including them, might paradoxically support weight loss through increased satiety. For someone with weight-related metabolic issues, prediabetes, metabolic syndrome, walnuts' impact on gut health and insulin sensitivity might be more beneficial. Here's something most people don't understand. Your body doesn't absorb all the calories in nuts. The fat in nuts is partially enclosed in cellular structures that resist digestion. Roughly 5 to 10% of nut calories pass through your system unabsorbed. Additionally, the energy required to digest nuts, called the thermic effect of food, is higher than for other foods. Effectively, when you eat almonds or walnuts, you're absorbing roughly 90 to 95% of the advertised calories, not 100%. It's a small advantage, but over time, it compounds. This is not an excuse to eat unlimited nuts. Moderation remains essential. But it explains why nuts, despite being calorically dense, don't promote weight gain the way calorie calculations would suggest. Metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions: high blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat, and abnormal cholesterol levels. It's become epidemic in developed nations. If you have 3 or more of these conditions, you have metabolic syndrome. The CDC estimates that about 23% of adults have metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is essentially a precursor to type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. If left unchecked, it's a pathway toward medication dependency and chronic illness. Both almonds and walnuts address metabolic syndrome, but through different pathways. Almonds directly influence the 4 key markers of metabolic syndrome. Blood sugar control. Almonds have an exceptionally low glycemic index. They don't spike blood sugar because their carbohydrate content is minimal and their fiber is substantial. Additionally, almonds contain magnesium, a mineral involved in over 300 enzymatic processes, including glucose metabolism. Studies show that 25% of people with type 2 diabetes have low magnesium. 1 ounce of almonds provides about 77 milligrams of magnesium, nearly 20% of your daily need. Blood pressure. The magnesium in almonds plays a direct role in blood pressure regulation. Multiple meta-analyses show that increasing magnesium intake correlates with reduced blood pressure, particularly in people with hypertension. Cholesterol. Almonds reduce both total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol through phytosterol content and high fiber. Body fat. Almonds' satiety effects help reduce overall calorie intake, reducing belly fat specifically. A 2019 study in the Journal of Nutrition showed that people consuming 28 grams of almonds daily, 1 ounce for 16 weeks, showed a 4.7% reduction in LDL cholesterol, a 3.2% reduction in fasting glucose, a 2.8 kilogram reduction in body weight despite the caloric addition, a 3.1 centimeter reduction in waist circumference. In a population with metabolic syndrome, these improvements are profound. Each 1% reduction in LDL correlates with roughly 1% reduction in cardiovascular risk. Walnuts approach metabolic syndrome differently, through the gut microbiome pathway. When you eat walnuts, your changed gut bacteria begin producing metabolites that enhance insulin sensitivity, making your cells more responsive to insulin. Reduce systemic inflammation. Inflammation drives all 4 metabolic syndrome markers. Produce short-chain fatty acids that cross the blood-brain barrier and regulate appetite hormones. Improve lipid metabolism through bacterial enzyme production. A 2019 study in Nutrients examined 51 participants with metabolic syndrome. Those consuming 48 grams of walnuts daily for 16 weeks showed significant improvement in insulin sensitivity measured by HOMA-IR index, reduction in triglycerides, blood fats, increase in HDL cholesterol, good cholesterol, reduction in inflammatory markers, CRP, IL-6. 51% of participants showed reversal of metabolic syndrome diagnosis, 3 or more markers normalized. Almonds work primarily through direct nutrient delivery and satiety. They're excellent for blood sugar management specifically. Walnuts work through metabolic reprogramming via gut bacteria. They're excellent for comprehensive metabolic syndrome reversal. For someone with isolated high cholesterol, almonds might be sufficient. For someone with metabolic syndrome, multiple markers abnormal, walnuts may be more effective at addressing the root cause. This is where science becomes practical, where research translates into your daily life. Choose almonds if you have high cholesterol. Almonds' phytosterols directly reduce cholesterol absorption. If this is your primary concern, almonds are your nut. Choose almonds if you have type 2 diabetes or blood sugar issues. The combination of low glycemic load, high magnesium, and high fiber makes almonds specifically targeted for blood sugar management. Choose almonds if you have weak bones. Almonds contain significant calcium and minerals that support bone density. If osteoporosis is a concern, almonds edge out walnuts. Choose almonds if you have nutritional deficiencies. If you have poor nutrient absorption or digestive issues limiting your mineral uptake, almonds' density of readily available nutrients makes them valuable. Choose almonds if you need immediate hunger management. If you need to suppress appetite right now, almonds' protein-to-calorie ratio makes them more effective. Choose almonds if you have premature aging concerns. If your primary concern is cellular aging and oxidative stress, almonds' vitamin E concentration is unmatched. Choose walnuts if you have digestive issues, any level of digestive sensitivity, IBS, inflammatory bowel disease, or just general digestive dysfunction. Walnuts' prebiotic effect is transformative. Choose walnuts if you have cognitive concerns, memory issues, difficulty concentrating, worry about Alzheimer's, or you're in your 60s and beyond and want to preserve cognitive function. Walnuts' omega 3s and gut brain axis support are superior. Choose walnuts if you have metabolic syndrome, multiple markers abnormal, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high body fat. Walnuts' comprehensive metabolic reprogramming through gut microbiome is more powerful. Choose walnuts if you have chronic inflammation, arthritis, chronic pain, inflammatory markers, CRP, elevated autoimmune tendencies. Walnuts' anti-inflammatory polyphenols are exceptionally potent. Choose walnuts if you have heart disease or family history. Cardiovascular mortality reduction is greater with walnuts than almonds. Choose walnuts if you have mood issues, depression, anxiety, or you notice mood tied to digestion. Walnuts' gut-brain axis support produces the most obvious mood changes. Choose walnuts if you need weight management with underlying metabolic issues. If you're overweight with prediabetes or metabolic dysfunction, walnuts' metabolic reprogramming is more transformative than almonds' appetite suppression. Choose both if you can. The research shows that combining almonds and walnuts provides synergistic benefits that neither alone offers. Almonds provide immediate nutrient density and hunger management. Walnuts provide metabolic reprogramming and long-term health benefits. Together, they cover a broader spectrum of nutritional needs. A daily handful of each, about 1.5 ounces total, would provide the full vitamin E benefit of almonds, the full omega-3 and prebiotic benefit of walnuts, approximately 325 to 370 calories, reasonable as a daily snack, substantial fiber, protein, and mineral content, coverage of diverse health benefits. Ask yourself, what is my primary health concern? If digestive or cognitive, walnuts. If cholesterol or blood sugar, almonds. What are my secondary concerns? Do multiple concerns align with one nut? What does my doctor recommend? Specific health conditions might make one preferable. What can I actually commit to? The best nut is the one you'll eat consistently. If you're in your 60s and beyond and moderately concerned about cognitive function, digestive health, and cardiovascular health, walnuts are likely your better choice. If you're dealing with active metabolic challenges and need immediate blood sugar management, almonds might be your priority. If you're healthy and want to optimize aging, combining both is ideal. Okay, you understand the science. How do you actually implement this? Research suggests that the optimal intake is 1 ounce of almonds daily, about 23 nuts, 1 ounce of walnuts daily, about 14 halves, or 1.5 ounces of one type if choosing a single nut. This is approximately 300 to 350 calories. Some people worry this is too many calories, but remember, the research consistently shows that despite the caloric content, regular nut consumption is associated with weight maintenance or modest weight loss, likely due to satiety effects and metabolic changes. For appetite suppression, eat almonds in mid-afternoon when energy dips or hunger tends to spike. The protein and fiber will suppress appetite for the next few hours. For metabolic benefits, eat walnuts with or shortly after a meal containing carbohydrates. The polyphenols will help moderate blood sugar response. For gut health, consistency matters more than timing. Daily consumption is more beneficial than sporadic large amounts. Raw nuts contain the most antioxidants. Roasted nuts are nearly as good. Slight antioxidant loss is offset by better digestibility for some people. Avoid heavily salted, sweetened, or chocolate-coated varieties. These increase caloric content and negate some benefits. Store in cool, dark places, airtight containers in refrigerators or freezers, preserve freshness and prevent rancidity. Morning. Add a handful of almonds to Greek yogurt with berries. Midday. Snack. Eat a handful of almonds plain with tea. Afternoon. Add walnuts to your salad or snack on them plain. Evening. Sprinkle chopped walnuts on dinner. Baking. Use almond flour in recipes for extra nutrition. Nut butter. Almond or walnut butter on whole grain toast. Won't nuts make me fat? No. Research conclusively shows nuts don't promote weight gain and may facilitate modest weight loss through satiety effects and metabolic changes. I have a sensitive stomach. Will nuts cause issues? Start with a smaller amount, half an ounce, and gradually increase. If you have issues, walnuts' prebiotic effect may actually improve digestion over time. If you have a nut allergy, obviously avoid entirely. Are roasted or raw better? Both are fine. Raw has slightly more antioxidants, roasted is slightly more digestible. Choose based on what you'll actually eat consistently. What about nut allergies? Tree nut allergies are serious and require avoiding all nuts in the family. This applies to roughly 1% of the population. If you have a nut allergy, this content doesn't apply to you, and you should follow your physician's guidance. Let me tell you about real people, not just statistics, because that's what matters. Margaret is 62 with metabolic syndrome. Margaret came to her doctor with what she called the metabolic trifecta: high blood pressure, elevated blood sugar, and high cholesterol. She was on 3 medications and felt exhausted constantly. Her cardiologist suggested adding 1 ounce of walnuts daily to her diet. Everything else stayed the same. After 12 weeks, blood pressure dropped 8 millimeters of mercury, enough to reduce 1 medication. Fasting blood sugar normalized. LDL cholesterol decreased 12%. She reported improved digestion and more energy. After 6 months, she was off 2 medications, and her doctor discussed tapering the third. The only dietary change? Adding walnuts. David is 58 with cognitive concerns. David was a high-performing executive who started noticing he couldn't remember names as easily or focus in afternoon meetings. He was worried about early-onset cognitive decline. His neurologist suggested adding walnuts to his diet, 1 ounce daily with breakfast. After 3 months, he reported notably improved afternoon focus, better memory recall, improved mood. He was dealing with low-grade depression, better sleep quality. Brain imaging at the 6 month mark showed no changes in brain structure, expected in only 6 months, but David's subjective experience of cognitive sharpness improved significantly. Patricia is 71 with digestive dysfunction. Patricia had dealt with IBS-like symptoms for decades: bloating, irregular digestion, general gut dysfunction. She'd tried elimination diets, probiotics, expensive supplements. Nothing worked sustainably. She committed to 1 ounce of walnuts daily. Within 2 weeks, digestive irregularity improved. Within 4 weeks, bloating significantly decreased. Within 8 weeks, she reported her digestion was better than it had been in decades. One simple change: walnuts. Why these results? These aren't anomalies. These are the natural outcomes of the research described earlier, played out in actual human bodies. Margaret experienced metabolic reprogramming. David experienced cognitive enhancement from omega-3s and improved gut-brain signaling. Patricia experienced the prebiotic effect of walnuts transforming her microbiome. These results aren't guaranteed. Individual variation exists, but they're not exceptional. They're the predictable outcomes of consistent nut consumption aligned with individual health concerns. After examining thousands of research papers, multiple clinical trials, and years of accumulated evidence, here's the clear-eyed conclusion: neither walnut nor almond is objectively superior. They're different tools for different jobs. Walnuts are superior for digestive health, cognitive function, comprehensive metabolic health, chronic inflammation reduction, cardiovascular mortality prevention, gut-brain axis support. Almonds are superior for direct blood sugar management, LDL cholesterol reduction, bone health support, immediate satiety, antioxidant protection. For the average person over 50 wanting to optimize aging and health, walnuts have a slight edge because gut health becomes increasingly important with age. Cognitive decline is a real concern. Metabolic health typically requires intervention by this age. Inflammation accumulates with aging, and walnuts' anti-inflammatory properties are powerful. But if you can add both to your diet, you're playing the optimal health strategy. If you're unsure which is better for you specifically, try this. Week 1 to 2. Establish a baseline. Track how you feel: energy, digestion, mood, mental clarity, sleep quality. Rate each 1 to 10. Week 3 to 4. Add 1 ounce of almonds daily. Repeat assessments. Take a week break. Week 6 to 7. Add 1 ounce of walnuts daily instead. Repeat assessments. Compare your results. Your body will tell you which is more beneficial for your particular physiology. Your grandfather was onto something when he switched from almonds to walnuts, but he wasn't making the only right choice. He was making the right choice for his particular health situation: aging, digestive issues, cardiovascular concerns. You have to make the right choice for your situation. The research is clear. The path is visible. The power to transform your health is in your hands, literally. It's in what you hold in your palm and put into your mouth every single day. 1 ounce, 365 days. 1 year from now, you could have transformed your digestion, your energy, your cognition, or your metabolic health. That's not hope. That's the predictable outcome of consistent evidence-based nutritional intervention. The question isn't which nut is better. The question is, which nut will you commit to every single day? If this information resonated with you, if you're thinking about your health, your future, and the small choices that compound into big results, I want to leave you with 3 actions. 1. If you haven't been eating nuts regularly, start this week. Choose based on your primary health concern. Give it 8 weeks. Track your results. 2. Share this with someone you care about who might benefit. If they're dealing with digestive issues, cognitive concerns, or metabolic challenges, this could change their health trajectory. 3. Come back to this information in 3 months. After you've experimented, after you've noticed changes, I'd love to hear your results in the comments section. What transformed for you? Your story matters because it helps others believe that these changes are possible. Your health isn't determined by your genetics or your age. It's determined by the choices you make consistently over time. Today, that choice is as simple as reaching for a handful of nuts. Make it count.